Good morning, everyone. My name is Benjamin, and I'm sorry I haven't uploaded the past couple of weeks. Or I guess the past couple of weeks. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before that. I had a chess tournament that I was playing in, and that went surprisingly well. I gained like almost 150 rating points out of it, so I'll take it. Um, um, at least that's what it's projected to be. And it'll give me a new peak rating, so I'll be happy about that. And look at this. There's one that slipped away. That would be that. Actually, we're gonna put that in the liens category because that's where it should have been last time I uploaded. And then last weekend I went and played a round of golf on Sunday because I wanted to. This weekend I did the golf on Saturday so that way I could upload. Anyway, so major event happened, and that was on Thursday. And I think everybody has seen either the debate or the big highlights of it. Or I guess if you're a Democrat, the lowlights. But, hey, I'm not here to judge. Normally, and I'm still kind of on the fence about this, normally I don't really see debates affecting the eventual outcome. 1960, maybe a bit of an exception. 1984, probably a bit of an exception. I think Bill Clinton definitely gained from the debates in 92, for example. But I really don't think people's minds are affected long term by a debate outcome. And usually any polling gain a candidate gets from winning a debate or appearing to not lose a debate, unfortunately, or I guess fortunately for us, people who actually try to forecast elections, usually that advantage subsides by election day unless there's some other factor going on. Now, that brings us to kind of the elephant in the room from Saturday's debate. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that we have been told by the administration, by the White House, by the Democratic Party, that Joe Biden was sharp, he was mentally acute, he was capable of maintaining an advantage and was going to beat Donald Trump convincingly in the debate, and that he was more than capable of running the country for the next 4 years. What we saw in the debate, and I really don't necessarily care about, how you can spin this. Obviously, Democrats are going to state that Donald Trump, every other word out of his mouth was a lie. He's unqualified to be president because. The felony convictions, the fact he can't, that he lies through his teeth all the damn time, all of his controversies, the I did not have sex with a porn star, which, people may say that's just an unpresidential statement. Well, Bill Clinton said it, I did not have sexual relations with... Let me actually see if I can do it properly. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. There you go. Actually managed to pull it off. It's been a while since I've tried Bill Clinton. But, we've had a moment like that before. It just didn't happen in a debate. But the point is that that's not really what matters. What matters is that what we were told about Biden before the debate and then what we saw during the debate. Which, wow. That was bad. I mean, properly bad. You know, we were given high expectations of how he was going to perform, and then he undershot those so hard that other than having a literal stroke on stage, I don't know how it could actually be worse for him. And it brings into question if we, the American people, were lied to about his actual ability to be coherent, pay attention, be cognizant of the situation, stuff like that. If we were lied to about that ability, what else has the White House and the Democratic Party and the Biden administration been lying to us about? You know, that's going to be the question on the mind of a lot of voters. You know, soft Biden supporters, independents, undecideds, you know, people like that. Because, well, if they're willing to lie about their candidates, well, capabilities, what else are they lying about? Are they lying about the economic numbers? Are they lying about inflation numbers, unemployment numbers? Are they lying about how well we're doing in terms of keeping Russia from taking over Ukraine? Or are they lying about what Israel is doing in Palestine and the Gaza Strip and, you know, the West Bank, and maybe even venturing into Lebanon? You know, what else is happening that we don't know the full truth of, that now the official narrative is being called into question? So that's one of the really bad things. And it's one of the reasons why I'm like, well, wait a second here. This might have an actual lasting effect on the outcome of the presidential election. You know, and I don't necessarily see it as support running from Biden to Trump. I see it as Biden voters deciding, maybe I just don't want to actually vote for this guy, or maybe just maybe, this guy just isn't worth voting for. You know, maybe they'll run to Kennedy. Maybe they'll just stay home. You know, this, I think, will have a lasting effect on polling. And I really don't think there's an easy answer or an easy solution for the Democrats to deal with the fallout. The first one is to say, well, that was just an unusually bad night for him. You know, he had a cold, which they started that at the beginning of the debate. You know, their social media and all that stuff. And, you know, they're like, you know, this is just an unusually bad night for him. He's not this bad. I'm not going to say any counterpoints or anything like that. They're trying to do damage control. That's the first step. And from there, you just have to be able to find a way to showcase his mental acumen from here on out. And I still don't think it's going to really help. Especially when we are getting reports that, you know, he's not been all there in his foreign trips or in private. I think Nate Silver put out a tweet that was like, yeah, so I'm getting... that he had heard from someone, or there was a White House staffer who said, yeah, Biden's usually coherent between 10 in the morning and about 1600 in the afternoon, which that's 6 hours. So wait, you're telling us the president is only fully there upstairs, you know, for a quarter of the day? Yeah, I think that's literally verbatim what Nate Silver said, or to put it another way, 3/4 of the day, the lights are on, but nobody's home. yeah, this could be bad. And it's led to heightened talk, and actually I think maybe more serious talk, from some Democratic strategists and people that, well, wait a second here. Maybe we actually should get Biden off of our ticket. And there's a few problems with that. And I really think that's actually a bad idea for the Democrats. It may save them from losing ground in their soft blue states like Minnesota and Virginia and New Hampshire, New Mexico, Colorado. Maybe the bleeding is going to go a little bit further based off of polls before the debates and before the convictions that we were seeing out in New York and New Jersey and Illinois, where the margin was about 10% or less in the case of Illinois and New Jersey, and one Emerson poll had it at in New York had it is Biden plus 6, though that included RFK. That bleeding could get much worse. But, replacing Biden might actually be able to save ground, save those states. But good luck with the rest of it, because it takes a lot of time to get, a campaign organized, and you aren't really going to have an obvious heir apparent. Kamala Harris is the obvious heir apparent because she is the incumbent vice president. So if you don't have Biden on the ticket, maybe you have his vice president on the ticket. That makes sense. But the issue for Democrats is Kamala is just as disliked as Biden is, and actually pulls worse against Trump than Biden does. So, yeah, not good. And she's also not very relatable. You can make similar arguments about Trump because he's, a billionaire, and, well, all of the stuff that entails. But, yeah. Now, that means if it's not Kamala, then who? Okay, let's talk about Gavin Newsom, who betting odds really like right now. And Gavin Newsom is only liked by California liberals. Newsom actually was one of the worst polling Democrats against Trump. Back when it wasn't clear whether or not Biden would get significant steam. Back when the Democratic primary actually was being polled, and they would routinely put out polls of Newsom versus Trump in certain states or nationally. And like I said, Newsom was easily one of the worst polling Democrats. I just don't see Newsom being a good look. Another name mentioned, and a lot of these people are also 2028 competitors for Democrats. Another name mentioned, J.B. Pritzker out of Illinois. And Pritzker, I don't know too much about, where he's tracking in terms of policy in Illinois. My assumption is he's your typical blue state Democratic governor, but, we'll see. He could be interesting as, well, he's from a Midwest state. Then you've got Governor Whitmer out of Michigan, who I really just don't think would be able. She's relatively unknown, and that's the thing is these Democrats wouldn't just have to build up a campaign infrastructure, figure out messaging, figuring out where they're going to attack Trump, where they're going to promote themselves, what type of administration they want to put together. The real question is actually where do they, where are they going, to campaign, and they also would need to boost their name recognition, because a lot of them just don't have name recognition nationally. Gavin Newsom to an extent, but that's kind of bad. And a lot of these Democrats are going to have a lot of baggage. For example, Gavin Newsom, so loathed in California that they recalled him. J.B. Pritzker. Sure, I've heard of him. I just don't know about it much. I just haven't been paying attention much to how he's been doing as governor. Same thing with Whitmer. You know, the only thing I know about Whitmer is that FBI thing where the FBI convinced a couple of guys to start a plot to kidnap her or something, and like 2/3 of the group were FBI agents. Yeah, okay, so maybe, I don't know. Bernie Sanders, yeah, you want to lose the middle? Good. Go with Sanders. And there's quite a few that it's just like, you run down a list and it's like, not enough name recognition, would lose the middle. You know, there's so many issues that you're not in a good position if you have to go with someone else, because you have to boost that name recognition between August and October. That's 4 months. And between now and then, you're basically giving Trump free reign of the general electorate. Because guess what? You're going to have infighting between whenever Biden gets removed from the ticket and the convention, where it's an open convention. It's going to be a brokered convention, and it's not going to be pretty. You're going to have the Democrats attacking each other, saying they're not liberal enough, because guess what? They have to win the support of the delegates at the convention. And you also have to toe that fine line of balancing, saying, hey, we're not too liberal for the general electorate, you know. So you're going to be trying to play that balancing game, because you're trying to compete in the general election, and you're now open primary to win delegates. That's going to be a tough sell. And it's not going to be very easy. And that's going to just break the Democratic Party apart, and those wounds aren't going to heal in a couple of months. Throw in the fact that there are probably going to be protests at the convention by pro-Hamas groups. Yeah. Really not looking ideal for the Democrats then. Okay. What about so there's just too many problems with replacing Biden off the ticket, and you also have to convince Biden and his campaign to be withdrawn from contention for the nomination, which I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, this turned from an election where Democrats were the underdogs, but easily able to credibly argue that if a few things go right for them, they're going to win the election. Now it's gone to a situation of, this is a train wreck. And they're going to be in damage control for, well, until the convention, and probably beyond that. as for Republicans and the Donald Trump campaign, what they need to do is they need to basically just replay that little clip of Biden trailing off and Trump saying, I don't know what he said there at the end, and I don't think he does either. Just run that from now until Election Day. Because that was probably the line of the debate, along with Biden saying that he beat Medicare, which, what? Seriously. That was like watching a slow motion train wreck for an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. Yeah, that's how I felt. It was like that I was watching a slow motion train wreck. Like I was watching an unmitigated shit show. So yeah, that's kind of where things stand. I'm not going to update my forecast for either the presidency or the Senate, which, let's make sure this is still the same. And I may do one for the House, but I won't go through anything yet. So yeah, I'll probably do that on my own time and then periodically just show y'all. But yeah, I'm not touching the House map because I've always said House elections are fluky and weird things happen all the time. So anyway, we're going to call this a day. I hope y'all enjoyed. I'll see y'all next time. Take it easy. Bye-bye.